The girls' hostel of St. Mary's Academy was usually buzzing with chatter in the evenings, especially after dinner when everyone gathered in the common hall to talk, laugh, and complain about classes. But on that particular evening, the air carried a strange tension. Whispers traveled across the corridor like sparks on dry grass. Some girls leaned against the walls, others huddled in small groups, all eyes darting toward one corner of the hall where Emily Carter sat, pretending to be calm. Emily, at 18, had mastered the art of looking innocent. With her neatly braided hair and sharp grey eyes, she could fool almost anyone. She had fooled teachers, her hostel mates, and even the warden herself. For weeks, she had been sneaking out after evening roll call, claiming she was staying in her room to study. In reality, she went out to the cafe near the main gate, met her friends, and came back before the night checks. Nobody had suspected a thing. At least, that's what Emily believed. The night before, Emily had told the warden she was buried in books, preparing for midterms. "I'll be in my room all evening, miss. You can ask Sophie," she had said with her sweetest smile, even dragging her best friend Sophie Lane into the lie. And she had gotten away with it. She returned late, face glowing with victory. Sophie had warned her the next morning. "You're pushing it, Emily," Sophie muttered while tying her hair in front of the mirror. "One day Miss Clara will find out. And you know what happens then." Miss Clara Bennett, the hostel disciplinarian, was a name that carried weight. She wasn't the kind of woman who shouted or scolded unnecessarily. She spoke softly, rarely smiled, but one look from her could silence a whole room. The girls respected her, and feared her. But Emily had only laughed. "Clara doesn't scare me," she said with a smirk. "She's too busy terrifying the juniors. She has no idea what I've been up to." What Emily didn't know was that Clara had already reviewed the security footage from the main gate that very morning. And there she was, Emily Carter, sneaking back into the hostel with her hoodie pulled low. Clara didn't call her out immediately. She was a patient woman. She let Emily enjoy her false sense of victory for one more day. It was after dinner when Miss Clara entered the common hall. The moment she stepped inside, conversations stopped mid-sentence. Some girls sat up straighter, others exchanged nervous glances. Clara's eyes scanned the room before landing on Emily. "Emily Carter," she said calmly, her voice carrying across the hall. Emily looked up, heart skipping. "Yes, Miss Clara. Come forward." The room went silent as Emily stood, forcing her legs to move. Sophie watched nervously from the back, biting her lip. Clara faced the room. "Do you all know what Miss Emily has been up to?" Murmurs rippled through the hall. "She's been sneaking out of the hostel. Lying about studying while breaking rules." Clara's tone was cold but even. "Very bold, isn't she?" Emily tried to speak. I wasn't." Clara held up a hand. "Don't bother lying again. We have footage from the main gate. Would you like me to play it on the projector?" Emily froze. Her face flushed as the room erupted in whispers. Sophie looked down at her hands, wishing she could vanish. Clara's eyes locked on Emily. "You think rules are a joke?" she asked softly. Emily swallowed hard. "No, I lies," Clara cut in. "Bold ones, too. Since you lied so easily, let's see if you can spin just as easily." Emily blinked. "Spin? Spin and splash," Clara said, turning to Sophie. "Fetch a bucket of water." "Cold water." Gasps filled the room. Some girls looked thrilled, others horrified. Please," Emily began, panic rising. But Sophie had already left to get the bucket, her face pale with shock. Clara spoke loud enough for the entire hall. 20 spins in the center of the room. After that, we drench her with the entire bucket. Maybe cold water will cool her lies." The girls erupted into murmurs again. Phones appeared in sneaky hands despite strict rules about recording. This was going to be remembered for years. Sophie returned with the bucket, water sloshing dangerously close to the rim. "Stand in the center," Clara ordered. Emily moved slowly, cheeks burning as everyone stared. A few juniors looked terrified, whispering, "Will they really do it?" 20 spins, Clara announced. "Count out loud. Everyone will join." Emily sighed shakily. 1. The entire hall shouted, "ONE." She spun slowly 2. 3. By the 6th spin, Emily's head felt light. 7. 8. Her hair flew loose from her braid. The room blurred, voices echoing in dizzy waves. 9. 10. The crowd roared. Clara stood like a statue, arms crossed, watching her wobble. 15. The girls yelled. Emily's legs nearly gave out. 16, 17, 18. She stumbled, barely keeping her balance. 19. 20. The room screamed. Emily stopped, swaying like she might collapse any moment. Sophie stepped forward nervously with the bucket. Over her head, Clara said. It's freezing," Sophie said softly. "Good," Clara replied. Emily barely managed, "Wait, please," but Sophie tipped the bucket. Splash! The icy water poured over Emily's head, drenching her completely. She gasped as the cold hit her skin like needles. Her uniform clung to her, hair dripping, water running into her shoes. The room erupted into shrieks and laughter. Some girls clapped, others covered their mouths in shock. Emily stood frozen, shivering, humiliated, and soaked from head to toe. Clara finally spoke, her voice cutting through the noise. "Let this be a warning. Rules exist for a reason. Lies have consequences. I hope this cools your cleverness, Emily." Emily didn't speak. Her teeth chattered as water dripped onto the floor. Clara turned to the rest. "Anyone else planning to break hostile rules? Think twice." The room went silent. Even the boldest girls looked away. Clara nodded to Sophie. "Get her a towel. And clean this floor." "Yes, Sophie said quickly, running off. Later, in their room, Sophie handed Emily a dry towel. "That was brutal," Sophie whispered, half concerned, half amused. Emily groaned, wrapping the towel around herself. "I looked like a soaked chicken out there." Sophie tried not to laugh. "You kind of did." Emily lay on the bed, staring at the ceiling. "I'm never lying again. Ever." But deep down, she knew the entire hostel would be talking about tonight for weeks. And they were. From that day on, Spin and Splash became legendary. Any girl who even thought of sneaking out imagined those dizzying spins and the freezing bucket waiting afterward. As for Emily Carter, she never broke another rule in St. Mary's Academy. Not because she was afraid of Clara, though she was, but because the memory of that cold, humiliating splash stayed with her forever. The disciplinarian had made her point without a single shout. And Emily never forgot the night the truth came down on her like a bucket of ice water.